This has been the situation in Douala, Cameroon, since the announcement of Paul Biya's win as the country's president for an 8th term on Monday. Supporters of the opposition leader Issa Chiroma Bakari have rejected the results. They are citing election irregularities.
On vote pourquoi? Moi j'ai perdu mon temps pour aller voter par rapport à quoi? Pourquoi les gens perdent leur temps pour aller voter?
People of the world now come on. Everybody come on. They are doing bad things in Cameroon. They have cut internet on Cameroonians since yesterday. There is no internet connection in Cameroon during election. Just when they're about to read election in Cameroon, there's no internet. MTN have cut internet. Orange cut internet. People in Cameroon do not have internet connection. UN, come on. Donald Trump, come on. Bad things are happening in Cameroon. The people have made a choice. They want a new president, but they are forcing somebody else down the throat of the people. They won't come and help us, please. People come and help us. Nobody in Cameroon has internet connection. This is a violation of human rights in Cameroon. How can you cut internet connection on the people? The whole population, no internet. I'm begging. Please, if you see this post, do something. Donald Trump, UN, people are suffering in Cameroon. No internet connection. Just because they want to rig election. Just because they want to do fraud. Election fraud. They want to force a president down the throat of the people by force. Please come to our help. Come to our rescue.
Cameroon has been in the news recently with its 92-year-old president Paul Biya winning an 8th term in office, extending his already 43-year rule. The country is effectively a gerontocracy, meaning a state governed by the elderly, which has its pros and cons. At 92 years old, Paul Biya is the world's oldest head of state. Other top officials in the country are in the same age bracket. Let's start with the legislature. The president of the Senate, Marcel Niat Njifenji, is 91 years old. He was born in October 1934. With nearly 6 decades of political experience, Njifenji was elected as president of the Senate in 2013. It's an important role. Apart from performing regular legislative duties, the president of the Senate is constitutionally empowered to become acting president if the country's president dies. He would lead the country to a new presidential election, but he is not eligible to contest in that election. Another top political leader is the president of the National Assembly, Kabaye Yegui Jibril. He is 85 years old. Born in February 1940, Jibril has been the president of the National Assembly since 1992. Now, let's turn to the armed forces. The Chief of Staff of the Cameroon Armed Forces is René Claude Mecca. He was born in February 1939. The 86-year-old officer has been Cameroon's military chief since September 2001. The judiciary in Cameroon is equally managed by the elderly. The president of the Constitutional Court is 84-year-old Atangana Clement. After several decades working in the judiciary in Cameroon and internationally, Atangana Clement was appointed to his current role in 2018. The role of the Constitutional Council includes interpreting the Constitution and overseeing the conduct of elections and validating the results. Atangana Clement was the one who declared Paul Biya the winner of the October 12th presidential elections, allowing him to serve an 8th term. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Cameroon is Daniel Mekobe Sone. The 79-year-old was appointed to this post in 2014. He was born in August 1946. The Minister of Justice is 83-year-old Laurent Esso. Born in August 1942, he took up his current role in 2011. Cameroon's population is about 30 million, and according to the United Nations, those aged 0 to 14 years represent 41% of the population, while those aged 15 to 65 years represent 56%. The relationship between age and leadership has been a subject of global debates. Some analysts say experienced elderly leaders offer wisdom, stability, historical insight, and mentorship. However, critics say the elderly may struggle with adapting to change, technological advancements, and physical demands, potentially hindering their performance and creating intergenerational tension.
I've said it before that the African Union doesn't work for the African people. Let's be honest, the African Union has just exposed itself. How can an organization that preaches democracy, good governance, and African solutions to African problems still congratulate Paul Biya, the world's oldest leader? A man who has ruled for 43 years, banned opposition leaders, silenced protesters, and rigged yet another election. And somehow the AU still found the courage to applaud him. The African Union sent observers to Cameroon. They saw all the election malpractice. They witnessed it all. And instead of standing with the people of Cameroon, they stood with the very same system that has been oppressing them for decades. They call it diplomacy. Well, this is not diplomacy to me. This is complicity. What kind of diplomacy supports injustice? What kind of democracy praises dictatorship? By congratulating Biya, the African Union has told every other African leader that you can stay in power until death. You can rig elections. You can crush your people. Nothing will happen. We will still clap for you. And this is very dangerous because it kills hope. It tells millions of young Africans that integrity doesn't matter, that the ballot box means nothing, and that power is about age, not ability. You see, this whole episode has exposed the African Union for what it's truly become.
How can you want to impose democracy by killing millions of people? That's dictatorship, that's not democracy. It can't be imposed. Those who call themselves Democrats. But look, we've seen scenes where people were prevented from entering assemblies. We've seen scenes where forces stormed into assemblies to force the deputies to pass legislation. We've seen scenes worse than that, where people kill their protesters, yet they call themselves Democrats, and we are labeled as coup plotters.
Cameroon, my beloved people of this beautiful nation, from Douala to Yaoundé, from Bamenda to Garoua, from Marua to Ngaoundéré, from Bertoua to every heart that beats for this land. Today, I raise my voice for you. This heartfelt prayer was organized and passed on to me by our beloved brother Abdul, a respected and God-fearing man from Cameroon, a brother whose love for his country runs deep and whose heart beats for the peace and unity of his people. Ya Allah, bring comfort to those who suffer, strength to those who stand for truth, and light to those who are lost in darkness. Ya Allah, Our land is crying out for your mercy. Our people are tired, our hearts are heavy, but our faith remains unshaken. Ya Allah, grant Cameroon peace that never fades, justice that never fails, and leaders who fear you more than they fear power. Unite our people beyond tribe, beyond politics, beyond differences. Ya Allah, guide our leaders towards righteousness, protect our youth from destruction, and bless our elders with peace. Every person who plots harm against the innocent, Ya Allah, expose them. Protect us from oppression, from violence, from injustice. Fill our hearts with patience and our nation with your peace. And Ya Allah, bless our brother Abdul for his sincerity, for his love, and for standing as a voice of peace in a time of pain. Reward him and reward every soul who carries this message of unity forward. My brothers and sisters, if you are hearing this, do not scroll past it. Do not let this dua stay in silence. Share it to your WhatsApp groups. Post it on your Facebook story. Send it to your friends, your family, your colleagues. Share it everywhere. Because perhaps the Ameen that will be answered will come through your own act of sharing. This is your own contribution to the struggle, to the prayer, to the peace of our nation. Ya Allah, bless Cameroon. Protect our people. Unite our hearts.
Maybe. Let me ask this question. What is the problem to Africa? What is the problem to the African leaders? Because it has been long since Africa got independent. There is no a day African countries going to contest for the election, and then the Africans or the people of a certain country come to celebrate because of their decision, because of their victory, because of they have got someone they wanted. Why is it that each and every time we go to election, we must shed blood? The countries must shed blood. We must lose people, hundreds of people, innocent souls who are going to demand for their freedom, for their rights. Why is it that each and every time if any African leaders are sent to the power, there is no quitting, there is no surrender, there is no saying that I have been defeated, then it's okay? Why is it that mentality that in Africa a leader must rule to the time he or she wants, but not the time of the people? Now, let me give an example of the country like Cameroon. What's really happening? Like now today, just go and look at the situation of Cameroon. Things are worsening every day. Because if you go through the deeper history of the country of Cameroon, this country is very poor. This country is very large and against very poor. The citizens in the country lives a life of surviving, because it is said that the people of this country survives with $2 in a day. So what is $2? What can $2 do with your life? What can you do with the $2 in your life, even in a single day? $2 is a very little money that cannot make someone to survive and afford to his basic needs. But when you go to the governors of this country, majority of the government of the government officials, let me say all of the official leaders, they are 70 years and above.
Cameroon don't carry the whole ancestors with the Africa. Food their government house. President 92. Minister 87. House of Rep 60. The whole ancestors. We're full Africa. The day Cameroon government house.
Starting from the president, the chief justice, the Supreme Court, the president to the Senate, the president to the member of parliament, to the army commander, they are all over 80 years and above. So how can these aged people come and bring or solve the solution of the country? And you find that the majority of this country, they are very poor, very, very poor, in a way that they don't know even how things run. They don't know how the country is running. They don't know anything about the government.
What's going on in Cameroon? I just spent 2 days hiking in Cameroon and a lot of people said it's dangerous. So let's talk about it because the real story is way more complex. Cameroon is known for violence and unrest in the media, but what you might not know is that Cameroon is officially bilingual. Half of the country speaks French and half speak English. But why is that? colonization. But the truth is, the English-speaking regions in the Northwest and Southwest have felt ignored and marginalized for decades. That tension exploded into a conflict back in 2016 when teachers and lawyers started protesting the use of French in English-speaking courts and schools. It escalated into a separatist movement, with some groups demanding full independence.
Many of them, or majority, don't have their electricity in the country. Majority of them don't have even radios or television. So they are just there, just living. They don't know what's happening. So the government is in the control of everything. The president is in charge of everything. So whenever he comes out and makes a decision, that's final. Nobody is there, or no one is allowed or to raise his voice. So that is how things are running the country of Cameroon. We have been coming here each and every day to preach about democracy, about governance, the best governance, about everything, but we are still having a long journey and a long process to do as Africans. Because if this is the kind of the leaders we are having today, and we believe that we are going to change the leadership and we are going to bring a change or revolution in Africa, then we still have a long way to go. So today, the country of Cameroon, since the time of campaigning of presidential or election in the country of Cameroon, many people have lost their life, who have tried to come out and resist the governance of Paul Biya. Paul Biya himself has been the leader of this country for 42 years. Paul Biya himself is aged 92 years old. So this means that as he has been announced the winner of this country of the presidential bid, it means that he's going to lead up to the age of 99 years. So how can, and when you go to the population of this country, majority are young people who are aged from 0 years to 22 years. So who is going to predict or to determine the future of this young generation? Who is going to solve the problems of this young generation of this country? Who is going to fight for the problem that the country is facing and the younger generation are facing? Who is going to protect the future of the generation of this country? If the leader himself, the president of this country, he has nothing to do with the country because he is overaged. So we are having a problem. The Africa has a problem. And that's not my problem or my concern. But my problem is, why is it that every time, every country that have go to contest for the presidential bid, we must lose people? Why do we have to lose people when we are demanding or saying that we are democratic, we are independent? Even the time of colonization, people never treated as how they are being treated by their own people, the black people. We fought, our freedom fighters fight so hard. They fought so hard to send away all the colonizers, and maybe believing that they're going to make their countries better. They're going to make the life of their people better. But what is happening? Because how the people are living in Africa under their leadership, under their own black leadership, it is more worse than how they have been living under the dictatorship and under the colonization. Because the black dictatorship is very worse than the white dictatorship. It is very, very bad and very annoyed for the country living under dictatorship of our own people. The people who would have been fighting on how to develop their countries, how to make the good governance and make the good life of their people. But they are the ones who are dictating, who are killing, who are not giving opportunities and chances, who are not giving freedom and rights for their people. This is very bad. So, today, we are in a hard situation in Africa. Because when you go in Cameroon, the situation is very, very worst. When you go in Tanzania, the things are the same because the president, the former president, has denied and has resisted to give out the chance to other people to contest. He has rigged the election, and now today people are being killed under his leadership. When you go. That is what the reasons to why now today many governments are being taken by military leaders, because the leaders that we are having are the problem, are the diseases, are the cancer that is consuming their people day by day. So, at how long are we going to continue under this kind of life? And this is what the foreigners want. This is the way that our former colonizers or West system wants. Because once we keep on fighting, we cannot develop our countries. We will continue being in a poor situation. And due to this, they will continue coming in access to our countries. They take everything they want. They take our future. They continue funding terrorists. They continue funding the governments, the puppetry governments, and the government who are not there for the interests or the dreams of the people, but for their own interests because they are supporting them. They are giving them chances to come and do whatever they want to do. Paul Biya has been a puppet to the French for so long. So whenever such actual things happen in the country of Cameroon, French government is happy for this. That's why we will be called fools always, because we are fools. Africans, we are fools. We have to accept this, because this is not the time of Africa living under the life that they are living today. This is not the time of Africa still living under the massive deaths, the chaos, and everything that is happening today. Africa today, since the time of independence, Africa today is mature enough to make the best decisions. Africa is mature enough to make their own way of governance and find a way on how to come out of the solution out of these problems. This is not the time Africa is getting is starting to govern itself. African youths are rising, but they are being limited. They are being destroyed once they rise to reclaim their dignity, their freedom. So, when you go to a country of the same is happening in country of Uganda since 1982 up to this time. Since 1986, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has been there as president, and he's still going to run for the president. So this has come a habit for the African governments. We need a strategy. The African youth needs to raise up. Not only the youth, but everyone needs to raise up. Because all that is happening today, there is no day Africa will develop, Africa will change, if this is the way we'll continue going. If this is the only way we are continue going, if this is the only way we are working on, I'll not take much of time. Because when you go to Cameroon today, the entire government system is like carrying ancestors. It's like carrying the African ancestors. Nobody's there who is still energetic, who can today carry the country of Cameroon to another level. So, what do you think about this? Let's me know in the comment section. Consider subscribing, sharing, and maybe coming back. Don't forget to come back next time, next episode, because we are still here each and every time, each and every day, doing the same. We're here to push the African agenda and make sure that a change must come. Until next time, may you be blessed watching. I support you. I appreciate your support for being here each and every time, because we are here. We need to be here and share our ideas